Let me see. I probably should turn the brightness all the way up. Yeah, that's about as far as we can go. In the past, I've complained about Wikipedia and other sites of its ilk, and how I really do feel as if the general theme among these sites is they're run by people who are unappreciative of those that volunteer and contribute to their crap. And many times, these people that run them can come across as being jerks or pricks because they'll often take issue with things that either are hypocritical because there's some other part of the site that's not the way that they're describing, or they'll go out of their way to nitpick the edits of other people, and in such a way that it oftentimes feels like it's less about helping the site or improving it, but more so to boost their own ego. Like, ha ha ha, I am the head mod, so whatever I say goes. Just before we get further into this, I was writing this script about a day or two ago. And while I was doing that, I kind of was just sitting here thinking to myself, because sometimes I just am left alone with my thoughts. And I was like, isn't it sad that if you make a video and you edit it, you write it, whatever, even after the triumph of you get past writer's block, you have your general idea or topic on what you want to write on or address. You still have to then worry about, hey, are people going to watch this? Are people going to be receptive to it? Um, I don't know. It just seems like even when it's out there, it starts a whole new phase of what is the response to this? Will it generate any views whatsoever? Will people have anything to say about it? It's interesting how it's always a battle just to put something up sometimes. But going back to what I was talking about, now I haven't had any issues with WikiPiss as of late because I don't really edit on there that much, and a lot of times I'm doing stuff on a sandbox, and that's basically where you can make edits to an article before making them and just have them saved somewhere, which limits the number of times that I contribute to the site itself because most of the stuff I'm adding is to a non-existent article, but somewhere that just saves the material. It's kind of like if a person wanted to, let's say, paint a mausoleum, and you give them like a practice area where they get to paint their stuff, and then at the end of it, they then are able to take whatever they painted there and then just transfer it onto the similarly sized mausoleum. So like it's really just there for kind of practice. Like, hey, this is what I want to add, and this is the order it should be formatted. And it's just I like that's I have a lot of problems with that stupid site, but one of the things I like the most about it is that feature, because I think it does help people to kind of formulate, how they're going to fix something or how they're going to do it, and I like that. And I'll probably end up by it could be this year, it could be next year, but I feel like I'll probably end up having another problem on that site eventually. I don't want to. Um, But I'm always reminded that every issue I had with that place came from the crime of contributing. Like I sometimes have to remind myself, like I really got into it with these people because I offered to help their site, which is what they claim they want on their stupid banner and other promotional material where they say, anyone can contribute. We're a community, that type of stuff. Even though I've always been so fascinated by the idea that there's only ever like even on Wikipedia itself, which is without question bigger than any of these individual wiki clones that come about for like different specific topics. I'm always fascinated by the fact that it's actually not that many people. Like when I would get double teamed or triple teamed, where like you have one editor who says, "Oh, your edits are so bad, you're destroying the site." They don't say it as bad like in that type of manner, but they're like, I do not believe your edits are warranted or should be retained, blah 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 blah, right? I would notice it usually was like maybe two people, three people. It's like a tiny group of these guys that are like, all working together to basically stick a middle finger in your face and tell you that you're no good. Um, like I've noticed for a while that the site really doesn't have that many people on there, actively contributing or editing. Like it's not it's a site like Wikipedia looks a lot bigger to people who don't contribute than it does to people who do. Because there you're not like actively seeing, when you go to like the revision history, like, hey, it's the same three, four, five people editing this page every year, or oh, it's the same 10 people arguing about this article in the talk page. And I even said before that like I'll never forget the woman who was shocked when she saw the way that one of the users like after I got rid of one of their edits, they tried to like argue with me and wrote like paragraphs while this was all featured in the Why I Hate Wikipedia video, by the way, where just like it was this really, I felt nasty, personalized attack on me. Um, Again, just for reverting what someone wrote, which people did to me all the time, but I never came to their page and tried to tell them that their edits were uh whatever, and all, just like a really toxic place where people feel like their importance comes from how good their contributions on a lousy site that so anyways, but she was like, I didn't know the site was like, it's like, well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that it would be if you have a place where it's all these people who think they're very smart and they're often clashing with each other because of supposed disagreements. I mean, it's not that shocking, but I guess we can get a little bit further into the stuff that happened on this other one. It's always hard to leave one of these sites behind. Like no matter how much they upset me, I guess I've even compared it to being like an alcoholic. No matter no matter how bad it gets, no matter how much, just how nasty they act. It's I guess if I were to try and make an explanation, I would say there's always this feeling you have when you go on there and you edit in like a specific way, or you call yourself trying to do something in a certain type of manner, that you might not run into these people again, or at least if you do, they won't be as antagonistic as they were before. Um, which is why I was saying that with WikiPiss, I haven't had a problem with anyone on there since before I left like I think like 3 years ago, because I really haven't been editing on there all that much outside of my like sandbox. It's kind of hard to have a problem with somebody that only adds to their own stuff most of the time. Um, but yeah, it's difficult. Like just being someone on that on those sites, it really is. It's not easy trying to contribute. But yeah, to get into the specifics. So this wiki I used to edit starting about I'd say 2 years ago. Anyways, the sequence of events is that first the main, because what happened is that this wiki is basically abandoned. And what I mean by that is one of the main mod who like added all the important information or like was actually filling pages or whatever, that person vanished like 10 years ago and just stopped going on there altogether. And so in that person's absence, they've had newer people like the main mod and then somebody else who just kind of they're just sort of there. They don't really contribute all that much. Like they delete stuff, they remove things, but they don't really like add much to the site overall. Um, so the first instance where they did something that upset me was there's a trivia section, and the trivia section you're supposed to be able to put like a little bit like, hey, did you know da 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 da, that type of stuff. And if you go on a wiki like Star Wars, for example, which way better than the one that they're running, but if you go on a wiki like that, and you go to a character page, you'll have like a section about how, the actor was uh approached for this role because of this, that, or the other, and they had a hard time doing this. It'll just give you like some background information on the person that played them, usually. And this reason a section like that is included is because the character is portrayed by that person. So the site referring to the Star Wars wiki feels like it's appropriate to have information about the performance on the page of the character, because again, the performance is what led to the character's portrayal. Like they play them, so it's I completely understand it. Um, the main mod on this wiki is like, oh, this doesn't have anything to do with the character. I'm like, yeah, but this is about the person who's playing them in the movie and their role in the film. And they're like, oh, this can be added to the actors page. I'm like, uh, no, this is something that if it's added to the actors page instead of the characters page, less people are going to see it. But also, it has to do with the character. It's their actor talking about playing them. What was hard, what was fun. I mean, it's not. But I was just thinking to myself, like, that's kind of strange that you would take information and like seemingly put it on a page that less people are going to look. I thought it was weird. Um, and there was something else that they did that was like strange, where somebody came on there and they changed the templates for the articles, just without consulting the main mod. And I saw like how, because of their changes and their values being different. So when you do templates on a wiki or just any of these sites, if you go and change the actual template page, that kind of like it's like the controls of the site basically. If you change it in a way that is not reflective of what's already on pages, that means it's going to start looking like it's missing or incomplete, because it's not the template pieces that are already there are not consistent with the ones that you're trying to implement. So it'd be like if I had a section where for a template it says the character's name, person's name, whatever, and then when I change the template, I put their manner of address, like, which is basically the same thing, but because I switched name and put manner of address, now anyone who has a name and then like their name, it's going to not show that because it's been changed. So I start trying to implement this new template this person has put there, which it's whatever to me. I couldn't care one way or the other. It's not that big of a deal. But the the main administrator comes on my page and is like, "Stop changing the templates." I'm like, sir, I didn't change any of these. Somebody else came on the site and decided to, I guess without consent or consulting this person, alter the templates. And I saw that this was messing with pretty much every character's article because the template's not reflected in what is being presented. So I said, okay, well, if that's the case, how about we just, you know, implement this? I mean, like I said, I could go one way or the other. I would have been fine with the other one staying. I didn't think the new one looked bad either. It was just kind of annoying that in trying to help fix the issue, which was to add the stuff for these other templates onto the character articles, it was like I was chewed out for something I literally did not do. Like I didn't change the way the site looked or anything like that, like at all. I had nothing to do with it. I wouldn't even that wouldn't even be a thing that would cross my mind to do, because I just don't care about like the personal interface of the site. And does this look, it's one of those things where there's a certain group of people that care about that stuff, and I'm not one of them. um so that was really irritating, and I didn't like act nasty or argumentative, but I just kind of said whatever. So it was the trivia thing that first made me go. And then the third thing happened during this weekend, where if you go on a wiki like the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki, for example, um they have screenshots, and I'm not even saying this to insult them, to be funny, but they have screenshots of almost the entire goddamn movie. And I mean, I could see where someone would maybe have, I don't know. I guess the way I look at it is I'm perfectly fine with them doing that because if you, for example, want to make a video about one of the movies and you want to use some screenshots, that's there for you to use because these different companies are notorious about copyright infringement. So if you play footage, they might try to cap your account. Um, but yeah, generally speaking, they take screenshots of the entire movie and they'll take screenshots of someone sitting like this, sitting like that, just kind of all the different angles and just like pretty much every frame. And I don't have a problem with it at all because, like I said, the sites there's not like a picture limit, so they can have literally thousands of images from two movies, and it wouldn't be a problem as far as like it wouldn't actually hurt the site to you know do something like this. So I start to because this site has it has galleries for most of its lead characters, but the galleries that basically they might have one picture from something from like an episode or a movie, and that's it. Like they're very bare bones, right? And I decided, hey, I'm gonna contribute to this, right? Because there's not that much on these pages. So I add a few pictures for I think it's like 3 different galleries, and all of a sudden I see that the guy has edited after me. Now, when he edits after me, I just assume, okay, he's probably like trying to do like a formatting thing. Maybe this stuff isn't lining up properly. I don't know. I don't look in that because I give him the benefit of the doubt. I said, whatever. It's just that's something he does where after somebody edits, he might call himself grammatically correcting them or trying to whatever it is. So I'm on there last night and I go and I look in one of the galleries. I'm like, oh man, I like that this is getting bigger. I like that we're adding to the thing. And I find out that he's deleted all like I added, I think it was like 3 or 4 pictures. He got rid of all of them except one for each one. And I was like, douchebag, why? And I looked at the reason he gave was like these pictures are nearly identical to and I was thinking to myself, the thing about wikis, especially the fan ones, Wikipedia to a lesser extent. But the thing about wikis is that they have a rules section. And every time I've had a fallout with this person, and it's not every time because I haven't like argued with them or anything, but just in each instance where they've done something I feel has slighted me and I feel was wrong, I go and I look at the rules of the site, which I mean, I'll admit probably haven't been updated in like 10 years. I that's because it's been around for a long time and we're getting to my point, but I look at the rules and there's nothing about, oh, if you put pictures in galleries that look similar to each other, we'll get rid nothing. So this goes back to the same issue I had with this guy last year, which is that the site really doesn't have any rules and the main mod kind of just makes stuff up as they go along um and expects you to just kind of like go along with it if you want to edit there like and I just I'm so tired of contributing and trying to be a productive member of these stupid sites when the people that run them they don't care if they mess something up or do something wrong. Me adding those images did not hurt that site whatsoever. Me adding those images actually was part of an attempt to make the site uh more akin to a better wiki. I'll put it that way. I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki is one of the best ones. It's very complete. I've referred back to it several times when I don't feel like, and I've said before that one of the stupidest things I've heard somebody say was like, "Oh, these character pages are just plot summaries." I'm like, well, sure. I mean, I don't know what else you would go there besides a plot summary, but one of the reasons why I like that is because if I'm, let's say, making a video about a Marvel film or, something else having to do with recapping the plot, I don't have to sit through a 2-hour movie. I can just read the plot summaries on the individual character pages or in the synopsis for the movie on the movie's page, and that's it. I don't have to keep referring back and sitting down and watching that film because it's already been written out for me. Um And also, I don't even have to go and see the movie again to get pictures because they have like every image from the movie on their site. So it's a very good wiki. Even as someone, and I say as someone who's never edited there whatsoever or contributed in any way, I can freely admit it's one of the better wikis on the site. A lot of the best wikis I've played almost no role in trying to improve whatsoever because they're basically is nothing I can do. They're all almost always already done or it's like what's a good way of putting it? When I was a kid, I used to be on the Avatar wiki, Last Airbender, not the blue people. And as the years went on, it was because I started on that wiki before I think before season 3 wrapped up, and then when Korra came out, they had people at that point that were watching that show, and they would edit every, time an episode came out, like, within a day or 2 of it coming out. So there was never really a period where I felt like I was needed, like, "Oh, damn, if I don't add something, who will?" On that wiki, they can have a whole new installment or show come out, and they won't add anything because, like I said, the main mod is not actually improving the site. They're just playing maintenance. They just go around and delete stuff and bicker and fuss with you about your contribution. And they're all very egotistical, so they'll never acknowledge when they do something wrong ever, like at any point. Just how these people are. Like he wrote some response to my thing about like, hey, why are you so gung ho about having trivia, like policing trivia sections, right? Which isn't even a majority of the page or like probably even a third of any of these articles. And he wrote something. I didn't look at it. I just said whatever. This guy is just trying to have some power over somebody. People in general just hate admitting they're wrong because to them such a thing is embarrassing. Yeah, but it's like it's over the internet. I mean, it's not like you have to come up to me and give me a personal apology and extend your hands and offer a friendship. And Akatsuki merch, I want to ask you this. Do you understand where if you have an image gallery, right, for like a characters in your show or your movie or whatever, you understand where if someone starts to add pictures from the movie or the show and pictures haven't been added to these pages in literally years and it's only like maybe 5, 6, 10, 12 pictures for each page because again people barely add anything. Do you understand where it's counterproductive to then tell the one person trying to add something, oh, these pictures look too similar to each other, even though you can tell that they're not the same thing? And how it's like it's really unnecessary to try and get upset, to try and like getting upset or having a problem with a person adding supposedly similar looking pictures when you can have as many pictures on any wiki as you want. Like it doesn't. It's not like there's a limit of how many pictures that can be uploaded to one in particular. You know what I'm saying, right? That like it's something that's completely harmless, like to have just on like a bunch of pictures of like each individual frame of the movie. Like it's not a thing that hurts the site at all. If someone does want to look at that, they don't have to look at it. It's just there for people that want to see it. Maybe they want to screenshot from the film without having to screen cap it themselves. So you get where it's like a really strange thing to try and like have a problem with someone doing that, like taking pictures of each frame of the movie, like or show, like that's a thing to actually fight them over and like try to scold them and say, hey, this is you get where that's like really nuts to even prioritize trying to fight back against that. I told you, man, I was just thinking of the Marvel wiki and I was like, I don't even know who they are, but the people that edit that site are so much but not the regular Marvel, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki, because on that wiki, they have screenshots of the whole, like every movie. You can just go to a character gallery and they have pictures of them from when the movie starts, when it ends. Sometimes they're sitting like this, sitting like, but again, you can tell it's a different image. And like I said, it's completely harmless. Like if you don't like these similar looking pictures, You don't have to look at them and you don't have to use them in any of your stuff. But them being on that page that's literally designed for pictures, it's not hurting the site in the slightest. So that's why I said people are just weird. Like the stuff they choose to try and focus on and fight you over, it's crazy, man. And it's like, I want you to think about this. They had a whole new installment come out for that stupid wiki, and this mod, right, doesn't add anything about that installment whatsoever. But then he has enough time to go and try and police what pictures get uploaded are put in a gallery. That's crazy as hell. That's why I said I'm at a point with these like sites where it's just, I'm not even joking. I've been saying if I get into another argument on WikiPiss, I would probably get banned for like just like speaking in a very disparaging manner. Uh, but I'm just kind of at my wits end with these sites because I guess I just had like an epiphany where I was like, you know what? I realized that no matter how much I contribute, I'll never be appreciated. I'm not even talking like, oh, like I'm gonna be made mod or something. I'll never have them say, hey, you know, I'm glad you did this. You really helped us. Nothing. The only time you ever get acknowledged by these people is when they want to tell you what you can or can't add. And it's always been that way right from the beginning. I can count on one hand the number of times between Wikipedia and crappy little wikis like that where somebody came and they said, "Hey, you know, I really am glad that you're here, and you know, you really did this thing that I've been waiting for." I've only seen that happen maybe 2 times in all the years of being on these different crappy sites that say they want everybody to contribute but never have anything nice to say when anyone edits. I'm serious. Out of all the years, and it's I've been on there. I've been on some either WikiPiss or some other form of editing site literally since I was a kid, and been an editor on one of those since I was a teen. And I cannot think of one instance in recent times, and there's been only been maybe 2 or 3 in the past where somebody said, "Hey, I'm really glad you're here and thank you for." They never do that. So that's why I said being on one of these sites and contributing and trying to making it improve it and uploading pictures and writing stuff. It's always from its inception been a thankless job. It's always been something that you really get nothing out of. It's just people trying to stick a finger up at you and tell you what to do most of the time. And if you have a problem with that, oh well. Live chat has been moved. Oh, these sites. They're always changing their interface. No, you think I'm playing? Out of all the years of being on these different editing sites, the only time you really get acknowledged by people is if you add or edit something in a way that somebody doesn't like and they delete it. And then if you like try to put it back, they delete it again and they're like, oh, you're edit warring or something to that effect. Like they almost never have anything nice to say. Uh, and it's just sad, you know. Because like I said, these sites, they all do the same thing. We want people to contribute. Please join us. We need you. Help us out. And then right after you join, they start treating you like crap. I mean, I remember when I was on WikiPiss one time, there was a guy that because I was talking about like, you know, what's the point of editing on a site where if someone doesn't like what you put, they can just delete it and that's it. Like, what's the purpose of that? Oh well, you know, maybe you can try working on upgrading an article to a good art. They have this thing about like regular articles, then good articles, then feature art. Supposed to, and that's supposed to like denote the quality of a page. Um, but they were like, oh, why don't you edit? Try working on getting an article to good article status, and then you'll have a better understanding of what's allowed here. What's like, dude, what purpose? Like if you try to collaborate on anything on that site with people, you'll have this is what always happens. You'll have 1 or 2 people who like what you write or like they're content with your contributions, right? And then you'll have another 2, 3, 4, 5 that spawn out of nowhere who take issue with what you're contributing. And I know they do that because I've seen they have a thing called a review. So they'll have good article reviews, feature article. This is like the process to getting an article to one of these supposed ascended statuses. But during that process, an editor comes around and they sit there and they go through the whole page and they're like, I don't like this. This is too long. This is too short. This is, I mean, you, and it's like, you just can't win with these bastards. So even if you call yourself trying to get an article to good article status, it's going to be the same thing that plays out of like, oh, I have a problem with this or that. And you just, anytime you edit on a site like that, you can never be sure that you won't have a problem with somebody. That's the best way to put it. They try to they try to like blow smoke up your you know what and go, oh, if you edit on these types of pages or if you go through this process, then no, it's all crap. From the moment you get on one of these sites, be ready to get your stuff deleted. Good article. That was my favorite part of that one guy trying to like dismiss my edits. I'm like, dude, if everybody here was so good and I'm the only lousy one, then why the hell are most of the articles not good articles? Like they have articles on there I've never even touched, and they're begging for people to come and edit on them and contribute and help out. It's like that's crazy. Akatsuki merchant, our site may despise you and actively try to find ways to get to delete your stuff and take issue when anytime you contribute. But if you come and work on promoting an article to a good article, you might learn more about what types of things are allowed here and are not. Even though, regardless of if you help us, we're still going to be ungrateful and delete your stuff whenever we feel like it. But if you just come and edit on this, no, no point. Oh no, I think I heard something that I want to hear. No, that site is terrible. And again, I'll never not be disturbed by the idea that this animosity comes out of you trying to contribute. Cost Merchant says, "What a terrible deal." Yeah, but like they really believe this stuff. Like, here's this person that edits, and some editors have a problem with their stuff, so they get rid of which they do to everybody. Like they delete each other's stuff and argue on pages every single day on Wikipedia. Like if I wanted to, I could make a whole weekly segment where we just go on different talk pages and whatever and like, hey, this person said this week. But what's crazy about it is that they pretend your stuff getting deleted is somehow like indicative of the quality of your edits, right? Even though again they do this to each other all the time. So they try to tell you, oh, if you go and edit in this manner or join up with another group of douchebags, oh, you might be able to learn something, and then your edits will be better and have a lesser. It's like no, they're going to get deleted no matter how good they are. I'm not even joking. Sometimes you can edit something, you can have no grammatical errors, you can keep all the stuff brief. You might have like two sentences, three, four, five, whatever, and somebody can look at that and they'll go, this is too long and then just delete it. So like again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you edit with, what format or manner in which you try to contribute. I mean, if somebody has a problem with what you're putting on, they'll get rid of it. That's all there is to it. They sound so petty and toxic. They are. But Akatsuki merchant, this thing with this guy really frustrates me because I swear they have a rule section on their wiki. And every time I join a wiki, I always look at the rules. I'm like, okay, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And nowhere in that stupid rule section does say anything about you can't add trivia for an actor in the character that they plays page, or you can't add pictures that we deem to look similar to each other. I mean, it you get what I'm saying, right? Like how the guy makes it up as he goes along. So that means that anytime you do something after reading the rules, you can just expect your stuff to get deleted. Like, oh, I didn't like this, so On a whim. Goodbye. Imagine if real life was like that, where you look at the laws, right? You read the laws and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go out in the world and be a whatever. And then the police show up at your door one day and they're like, you were wearing some red shoes yesterday, and we didn't really like the fact that you were wearing shoes of that shade, so we're gonna slap some cuffs on you. There's no law about this, but we've just decided we don't like this, so we're gonna get rid of your shoe. We're gonna confiscate. I mean, it's that same type of logic where like there's a set of rules that the guy is too lazy to specify or add more stuff to. So you basically go on here with the false premise of thinking, hey, okay, as long as I follow the rules that are stated here, I should be good. And then he just keeps making up stuff to have a problem with. And like I said, the people doing this they're not like WikiPiss is big enough to where they can pretend that they're like, we accept the best of the best, and you need to up your game as an editor, man, that type of crap, right? But these wikis are so damn small that it's maybe like 5 people editing regularly, 10 people editing yearly. Like it's crazy to me that they're as picky as they are and as nasty towards the few people that contribute with as few people that even bother in the first place. Like you get where that's really nuts to me, right? That WikiPiss at least can say we have a lot of contributors, even though their contributors actually is not that big when you really think. But anyways, they can at least pretend like we have a bunch of contributors and you need to meet our standards and blah 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 blah, right? A site like one of these wikis, they'll have a handful of people that edit regularly, and it's like even with such a small group of people editing, they're still run by these extremely picky, over selective, um, again, pricks. Hey, Akatsuki Merchant, before you make your new video that I don't like, how about you collaborate with some guys on making a 5-star video, and then you can know what videos I will like or not. It's like, well, why do I have to make another video just to do the one I'm already trying to do? Like, why do I have to edit another article on like which may be on a topic I don't even give a damn about? So it's gonna make it to where I'm not even motivated to write anything about. But like, why do I have to make why do I have to edit another article just to edit this like the one I'm already editing? It's weird, man. It's something wrong with these people. They are petty. I mean, the guy that was getting like really, I want you to think about this. Character galleries are pages on wikis where it's just a bunch of pictures. And if you look at a site like the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki, they have pictures of almost every frame in different Marvel films. And again, if you don't like these pictures, you don't have to use them, you don't have to look at them. But if somebody does like them, they can download them, they can use them for a video, they can use them for a reference to draw. I mean, there's all basically that stuff being there is inoffensive because there's no limit on how many pictures a wiki can have. And the people that don't like the pictures or think it's dumb to have this, they don't have to do anything with them. But yeah, on Marvel Wiki, the Marvel Cinematic Universe Wiki, they'll have a picture of this, and then that. And again, like nobody has a problem with that because it's generally accepted that if you don't like these pictures, don't want them, whatever, you don't have to have them. These pictures look identical to each, even though I know they're not actually identical to each other, but they're of the same frame and slight. I was like, Jesus Christ! I tell you, I hate that mod so much, man. Like I know hate's a strong word, but when you try to help a site, like you genuinely try to help a site, you add stuff to it, whether it's pictures, text, and the person running it is not appreciative of that fact, and they've never been appreciative of that fact in the years that you've been on there, to where the only time they ever acknowledge your existence is when they're deleting something or taking an issue with something. It's all just it's all toxic. None of it is worth anyone's time. And I don't know. I feel like I'm wikied out. Like at this point, just a lot of times I'll just sit there and be like, I could add this, but what's the point? Seriously, like sometimes I'll sit there and there will be either a new episode or movie that came out, or even like let's say if it's Wikipedia, there's like a new news article, and it's like, hey, this could go here, and like my mind instantly thinks, hey, this is interesting, and I think there's an encyclopedic place for this. But then I'm like, well, wait a second, I'm used to them deleting my stuff, and that annoys me more than I want to assist them because when I assist them, they don't appreciate it. So I just say, all right, to hell with it. But like I said, once you start doing that stuff, it's hard to undo it. It's hard to like not think of it in the way of an editor, like to not have your mind go to, oh, this can be good for this article or good for that page. Yeah, WikiPiss is plenty petty and toxic. They are a nasty site, man. The people have giant egos. They all think they're the smartest person, you know, ever. God's gift to mankind, whichever way you want to refer to them. They're all geniuses. They're brilliant. And like I said, all the time they spend trying to belittle you, but it doesn't work when you remember two things. One, these sites are already crap by themselves. So when the guy was like, your edits are not encyclopedic and you don't understand what this site truly like, dude, most of the pages on this site are not featured. They're not good articles. There's plenty of pages on there that are terrible that I've never even touched. So to try and act like I'm just this singular horrible entity on the site is BS. But that's one factor, and the other part of it is that, again, they're just not grateful. Like they don't they talk a good game about their community and, oh, we want people to edit, but if you actually get on there and you see the way that they act and how toxic they are, there's no point. Who are these sites ran by antisocial freaks who clearly don't know how to work with people? Oh, definitely. Because you have to remember, Akatsuki Merchant, a lot of times the mods don't actually do anything. Like on a site like WikiPiss, what tends to happen is there's about 5, maybe 10 people who can be counted on to like seriously contribute, right? And then they have these mods who a lot of times they're deleting stuff, they're erasing things, and like you actually have these backwards thinking uh editors who are like, their deletions are helping the I'm like, how? They add nothing. They're literally there to just breathe down your neck whenever you write something they don't like. And the case of the wiki that we're talking about, the mod that runs that one, I said before, the other mod that actually added stuff disappeared years ago. Like they you they added most of the material that's there, like to this day, and then they left. And in that person's absence, the one who is currently the like main mod, head mod, whatever, they don't really add anything. They just kind of go around and they delete something that somebody else wrote, or it's all basically just cleanup duty. They're not really what you would call improving the site all that much. It's just, let me delete this, add this, write that. As for I just don't feel appreciated. I really don't. Anytime I've been on a wiki, it's like the only time you can get these people to ever acknowledge the fact that you exist is if you do something that upsets them. Like, oh, you added all these articles to categories that are not what they're supposed to be. Ugh. But outside of that, they don't really seem to care all that much. Like, as far as, hey, if you go and edit and contribute, oh, whatever, doesn't matter. Who cares? That's why I say I just feel like a hamster on a wheel with this stuff. I really do. Like there's basically nothing good that comes out of contributing. Like if you edit, you get ignored. And then if you or rather, if you edit something that they like, they ignore you. And if you edit something that they don't like or in a way they don't like, then here they come with their pitchforks and protest signs. And I always said because this like I'm on like an anarchist thing with these wikis now, which means I'm open to talking and because basically I got to a point where I said, okay, I'm never going to be a mod on any of these sites. They're never going to appreciate anything I do for them because that's how they are. So if they try coming at me with that whole, you need to feel bad because I'm just gonna basically tell them to go and what themselves. I probably won't say it in as graphic of a manner or as profane, but I'll like I will like write, piss off. I don't care if it's so bad, delete it yourself. Because again, on these sites, remember, I've never been, at least on the ones I'm talking about, like a mod or someone that they put in charge. So I have no powers that a normal person who just makes an account wouldn't already have. So if the stuff I'm writing or editing or adding or whatever is so bad, they can get rid of it. Like there's no reason to have to come and try to like argue me down and tell me, oh, this is just get rid of it, just delete it. I'm not joking. Like there's when you think of it in those terms, it really I hope it explains to you why my patience is so limited with these people because they will spend so much time trying to get you to fuss and bicker and uh go back and forth. And I just don't have the patience for it. I really don't. Like maybe maybe a few times a year I'll go on there and okay, I'm gonna edit this article. It's probably gonna take a month or so, and you go and read some book, get some sources, whatever. But as far as things currently stand, I just don't have the tolerance that I used to for that stuff. I don't. And people can get mad. They can go, "Oh my god," but I don't care. It's whatever to me. Like these sites are run by some very very nasty characters. And I agree with what Akatsuki Merchant wrote. They're antisocial freaks. I totally buy into that one. Like literally, some of these people have no life. They just sit there on that computer from morning until night, and it's like even if I were to do that, I could say, okay, I stream in the morning. I go somewhere to go get something to eat, whatever, and then I come. Like there's still stuff I do during my day where it takes me out the house. They will sit there and have 500, 600, 700 edits in one day. But I forgot to tell you that some people are paid to edit. They do have a thing of paid editors. Um, so I guess maybe that's the incentive. But that's the other one. Another reasons I don't care. It's like I'm not even getting paid to do this. Like this. Even I'm only going to get probably 10 cents from this stream, and I'm making way more from this stream than I ever made on WikiPiss. I didn't make 1 cent. So even if I get one penny from this stream, it'll be more lucrative for me than actually trying to contribute to that lousy site. Yeah, the way you're describing them, their behavior would get them fired if they worked in an office. Well, remember, when you get to hide behind your computer, you can talk all types of crap and call people out their names and disparage them and berate them. I mean, that's why I said the internet has really destroyed the humanity of a lot of people. It's turned them into something that is not recognizable as even like remotely human. Like, yeah, they're human in terms of being flesh and bones, but like as entities that exist to serve their fellow man and to like treat those around them with some semblance of, it could be kindness or compassion or even just like the basic thing of, hey, so I don't agree with what you did here, but we're trying to edit this and maybe we can not even like a like kind of like a calm attempt to just sort of sort things out and speak in a manner that's reflective of a disagreement. Like these people just they rage at each other. They write whole novels of walls of text, and it's like, god. And I said before that like WikiPiss really was the site that made me just like it, that site more than any other one killed my interest in talking to people by text, because every time I would argue with somebody on there, they read like you could write 5 sentences, 3 sentences. They read maybe one or two, or they respond to like what they think is the general idea of what you're writing, and then they go from there. Like they completely, if you write something that exposes how full of crap their policies are and how hypocritical they are, they'll write a response that almost completely ignores what you have to say. Which is why I said that at this point, if something else happens on that site, I will I will say something that's probably going to get me banned. I'll just admit that, because at this, because like again, anarchists, no, there's no point in trying to compromise. Nothing. Just we're done. Jim, I was hoping I wouldn't have to see you again until next Saturday, because I know you're going to be very upset with me for not looking into Meet Me, your new favorite site. And look, I hope you feel better. I know you've been having a stomach ache from that Henry Kissinger centennial cake. I hope that your stomach recovers. And I know he sent you a letter, and he told you, Jim, I know that my cake made you feel bad, but I hope that you feel better for uh, after digesting such a very large section of sweets. So you're probably gonna take that letter and frame it and hang it up. I actually did have a joke one time where I said I was gonna like make like print out 20 pictures of myself and get some frames and sign each one, and then like if I ever became famous or a big deal, I would like mail them to all these different people so they could like have some kind of prized item that nobody else has a, you know, like that very few people have a copy of. Oh, Jem, I tried to ask you this last stream. So out of the group of, we got to talk about our female secretaries of state. Out of the group of Albright, Rice, and Hillary, which one is the least bad? Which one is the least worse of the three? I'd love to know. That's not even like a trick question. I'm very curious as to what your answer will be. Exactly. Thank you. I was actually reading Rice's memoir as secretary. Well, it starts off with her as national security advisor, but I was thinking like that's it's really well written. Like you almost feel like you're being transported back to like 2001 or 2, like just the way that she describes things and kind of explains stuff. Even as someone who's not a fan of, you know, Bush's tenure, I still can objectively say this is actually a fairly riveting account of a time period that I was there for, but I was a little kid. I don't remember that well. Dude, the saddest part about Albright and Clinton is that they will literally get defended over anything just because of their gender. Like Albright's the only um I guess you could say diplomat I've ever thought of or heard of who went on TV and said, "Oh, it's okay that we killed 500,000 children. That's all right with our sanctions. It's worth it." And we don't even have to get started with Hillary and super predators. Oh yeah, she's a Stanford teacher. So I'm you don't have to convince me. I know. She has a very interesting life. I mean, I think I told you when I went to Alabama, I went to the 16th Street Baptist Church where the little girls were killed. One of them was classmates or schoolmates with Rice. She was like 3 years younger than her. That's what I'm saying. But that's why when Anna was sitting up there smiling and saying it's such an honor to be around Albright, I was like, you literally run what's supposed to be one of the premier progressive shows of the internet. You get a chance to be in front of what is one of the, I mean, objectively speaking, one of the more like influential public figures of the at least the 90s, right? Uh and you don't criticize or condemn or nothing. Like you just sit there and give her a tongue bath. Bad attitude, bad intentions. Akatsuki Merchant writes stuff like this with the wiki mods is why I say social interaction is just as important as eating or sleeping. Oh, it is. Because if you really listen to the guys on WikiPiss, they will make it sound like you're the worst person that ever lived. Like if you edit in a way that they don't like, they will demean you as if you're like an animal. Bad attitudes, bad intentions. I'm not even joking. They were selling Rice's memoir. Like it's like the what's good. Let me give you a good analogy. Oh, I got all this stuff slammed up against here. But they were selling Rice's memoir like on eBay for like a signed copy of it that's like leather bound, looks this good. It's not this, but just an example for like 100 some bucks. I was really thinking of getting it because that book is really good. And it's you know what I'm saying, it's tempting. And is as smart as my pet rock. Anna can barely you know what? There was a guy that made a video about her, and his name is I think it's Medher. He's a Syrian journalist, and he was talking about how the Young Turks, not with Jank, but like it was Anna and I think her name's Francesca, some lady with black hair. Anyways, he was talking about how like they were misrepresenting Assad and how the people felt about him, and they have like no proof when they say that he stole like just nothing, right? And there's a screen. I'm not even joking. This is in there in the video. There's a section in that video where it says on screen, I think it's 800,000 people were whatever, like something about like getting kicked off a voting poll or didn't vote or something. And Anna says 8,000. And the guy's like, okay, so now Anna doesn't know how to read. And it's like I've never the screwed up part is a lot of times when I watch these news shows, I do click off to like, you like it's like a radio, you just listen to them as you're on some other tab. She really mistook the number by like several thousand like damn, I don't know how you make a mistake like that and it's just nobody caught it while they were editing, no, like nothing. And I get that their crap goes live, but I don't even know how you can make an error like that and just be like, all right, whatever, keep going. The show must go on. Like that's crazy. I'm not joking. I can't believe that actually happened. Like it was like 800,000 and she said 8,000 and like the lady that was with her didn't say, "Hey, no, you have that wrong." Nothing, just whatever. God. So when you said Anna can barely read, I'm reminded of that. Anna often misrepresents or misinterprets statistics and gets super upset when she's called out on it. Hey, listen, Akatsuki merchant, let's not talk about her anymore because if we start talking about her, you're gonna pull out your folder of Anna pictures, and the rest of us are gonna get kind of annoyed because we're tired of looking at photos of that lady. So let's just drop let's talk about some other political commentator. Assad is one of the best leaders in the world. Assad, being interviewed by Western media, was the best. He made them look foolish. Well, I mean, dude, it's the same thing with like you know how it is. They get a narrative and then they run with it and they barely do any research. And when you start talking about certain things, they look dumb because they don't look into what's actually being said. They just follow whatever narrative is being pushed. Don't hate on the Anna. It's just called the AK folder, and you go in there and you have pictures of her from every damn video. It's like thousands of images. Every time she stands up, you make sure to screenshot that real quick. Go all her photos. Anyways, Jim, I know next weekend you're going to be busy, probably rearranging your house because I know that your ex-wife she's trying to get your pictures, but I'll update you on the thing with the Secretary of State this week. Because like I said, Jim, there's five people from the UK that you have images of adorning your house, and they're all right next to each other. You have Winston Churchill, the greatest prime minister of all time; Margaret Thatcher, the second greatest prime minister of the UK, and arguably the greatest woman of the 20th century; Diana, Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Victoria. So all their images are just sitting around your house in some nice pristine folders. So yeah, we won't be seeing Jem for a while. He's gonna be too busy trying to save his pictures. Hey, Jem, you can't talk about the way a woman looks anymore. That's a big no no. People can come on here and they can attack me over my appearance, but and that's fine. But if you talk about the way a woman looks, I mean, come on, you might as well be committing murder. So make sure you delete your comment and we pretend this didn't happen. That'd be funny if like speaking disparagingly of the appearance of a woman is so like frowned upon now that I after the stream is done, I download it and I cut out the part where I like chastised you for for speaking about the way she looked. Like there's a missing minute and it becomes like a big scandal. Like why did he re-upload this stream after and what did he say during that missing minute? But yeah, you can't speak about the way a woman looks ever. You can't talk about what she wears, and you can't talk about the way she looks. Those are two things that are banned. It's so funny how this one person was like, "Women in politics have to deal with the double standards of men talking about the way they look and not judging them on the basis of their policies." I'm like, dude, are you serious? They talk about the way men look in this stuff all the time. You know how many people were talking about Trump's complexion and they were criticizing Obama over the tan suit, and I mean, like, come on, like, give me a break. I don't feel sorry for women that run for office. I really don't, because most of them, since they're unknown, don't get the basically like you'll see more criticism of what a celebrity woman wears than like a congresswoman or female senator or whatever, because they have more eyes on them. And like I said, and we've talked about this before, Jim, and I think you remember, women get to wear whatever they want in professional settings, in casual settings, and no one is supposed to say anything at all. But then if you're a man, you have to wear that same stupid suit, with black or blue suit with the white or blue shirt. If Trump can do it, I remember when he said that about Fiorina. And then she put out that stupid ad like this is oh, it was so goofy. It was all these different women like showing their faces, and I was like, he set himself up so badly for that. And it was the same thing with Lemon and Haley, where he said that she wasn't in her prime. And I had one person, they were like, well, it's kind of true because women in their 50s, like, yeah, but we're talking about running for office. You have people that are literally 20 or 30 years older than her that are running. So she's very much a spring chicken compared to the rest of them. I keep freezing. Akatsuki merchant, am I freezing? Let me see what's going on here. I shouldn't be. I don't know what happened. I'm not freezing on my end. Akatsuki Merchant, am I freezing for you? I don't see anything wrong with the stream. I don't. Yeah, I think that's something wrong with with like on his end because I'm looking at it on my phone and you're saying no as well. So I don't think it's acting up. I think that might be his computer. That's that's running a little low and slow. I still can't believe I haven't streamed from here in a month. That's crazy. I just switched phones. Oh, well, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't. If I was, you probably would have been co-signed by a Kotsky merchant. Might just been a connection lag. Yeah, that's what I think. Maybe that's his ex-wife messing with his internet. She's like, if I can't have your if I can't enjoy the internet on your phone, then no one will, and just shuts it off. I'm telling you, people just no, Akatsuki merchant. I if you're tired of your edits being deleted on WikiPiss, you can come and work on making an article, a good article, and then your stuff will still get deleted because we just always find a way to have a problem with something. But you might now know what types of things to do to avoid getting deleted. My ex is busy spending the 300K from my four. I tell you that this one person got so mad when I said that. I wouldn't. I would completely understand if you get married and you have the woman sign a prenuptial agreement, like before even getting married. Or I guess in the process of getting because because like if you and this person fell out of love, why do they get half your stuff? Especially since remember we talked about how things are so backwards that a lot of these chicks really do just expect to inherit stuff from men that they do nothing for. Like, oh, I dated this person, so they owe me some shoes or a car or whatever the hell. Like it's weird, man. That's why I said modern relationships are just such a they're just a parody of themselves. Like I've seen so many couples in real life and you always think about like nuanced interactions like you see people that hold hands and they talk to each other. I think I told you that I went to Starbucks about 2 or 3 weeks ago and there was this man and this woman and they were all hugged up on each other and smiling in each other's face and it was like you know how they call it overacting like when somebody is they're trying but it's too much like it's not believable. That's what they had. I'm like there's no way in hell you're this damn in love to where I'm supposed to believe when you're in the privacy of your own home you're just smiling at each other and standing all up close to each other and making like come on, that's all to show something for us. It is fake. But I said like modern romances to me just seem like a joke. Like I don't see any two people that seem as if they're actually in love and want to do things to it's all just BS. And even a lot of the people that supposedly find a partner, that's after they've already spit out two or three goddamn kids with another guy or two other guys. So is that the path that's there for me? You meet some woman and uh date her for like a month, a year, and then she gets your stuff or with it's just it's all just lousy, man. Like I'm sick of the whole process. That's why I didn't want to do dating new people act so confrontationally evil nowadays, especially but my thing is it's not even just like the women, it's just everything surrounding it just seems like crap. Remember, we talked about this before. Oh, you want to go on a date with a woman? Well, time to sign up for some dating sites and go to the mall and various other places and flag down any of these different chicks that you think are attractive who are probably already dating somebody. And then if one of them gives you their number, you can expect that person to stop responding after a week or so. I mean, the whole process of even trying to get something started with one of these douchebags is just it's not worth it, man. It really is not. Oh yeah, I always try to make this point, but Gem, I was only an active user of a like I think it was like 2 dating sites for maybe 6 months, 5 months. Like a very brief because I realized very quickly like yeah, this is going nowhere. This is just a sinking ship. I was not on there for that long, I'll tell you that. But you understand what I'm saying? Just the process of trying to get a date is not worth it. Like all the stuff you're expected to do just to maybe go out with somebody, it the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Because I'm telling you, attractive chicks, I don't care what anybody says, they're a dime a dozen. If you go and you walk down the street or do any other thing in real life, I guarantee if you look around, you can see chicks you think are attractive. So doing all this stuff just to go out with one of them, I just don't think is worth it. I really don't. And remember, it's always the man's fault. Like, oh, you need to get in shape. Oh, this woman is 300 pounds. Body positivity. Oh, you need to get some more money. Oh, this woman lives in a box or her car or whatever. Oh, well, that's okay. Like, I'm tired of the double standards. I'm tired of these chicks who they don't have to do anything other than exist, but then you have to do everything and anything just to try and end up with one of their sorry, behinds. Like, it's just, it's just really lousy, man. That's the most recurring line about chicks, like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Well, that's why I called it the triangle scam. I mean, we were even talking about the broad what was that last Saturday where I was talking about the one that was like, "Oh, your personality matters. It's just that women are going on dating sites, but they'll eventually care about you." It's like, dude, if they're on dating sites, they're looking for one thing, which is a big old banana. And if you don't fit whatever personal appearance they claim to like, then you're screwed. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter how much she may enjoy speaking to you or get along with you or feel a connection. Any of the other little crap they say to try and make it seem like they're, that there's something between you and them. It still doesn't matter. Just like I'm not even joking. As recently as a few weeks ago, I met a woman who was talking about you go on like in her public post, oh, she wants to have some big family and she wants to get married. And I'm like, yeah, this sounds cool, because someone I just started speaking to. And then I look at another one of her posts and she's talking about, hey, look, ethnicity is non-negotiable. If you're not white, take a flight. Now, of course, she didn't say that last part, but she did say she will not date someone who's not Caucasian. So again, it's like, and this goes back to my thing of how people they try to act like if you're especially if you're a single guy, that you made it this way, like you did something to force it to be this way. But I've said before, there's plenty of chicks that will not date someone who's of a different ethnicity. And it doesn't matter what you look like, which personality is. If you are of an ethnicity, something that you cannot control that they don't like, you're screwed. But people don't want to acknowledge this. That's why all these little dating gurus and coaches and used car salesmen, they never mention this at all. Like you will never see a single one of them go, hey, there are chicks that they don't like guys of other ethnicities. So no matter what you do, they will not like you, and you have to be mindful of that because sometimes you might think you did something wrong, but the person just isn't a fan of yours because of the way that again of a thing you can't control. They will never acknowledge this. That's a big hush hush. That's a shh. Be very quiet. Dude, I stick to my no, I'm not saying look, okay, every time I speak about this, it gets misconstrued. I'm not saying you can't stick to your own kind or that's not the point I'm making here. I'm simply telling you that when people try to blame a man for why he's single, they like to leave out certain things that are out of his control or that he cannot change by virtue of pretending that those things don't exist. So like again, if you just want to date, if you're black women, whatever, I don't care. I'm just saying to you that you would never see someone what's a good example? If some like let's say you just want to date black women, right? You would never see someone say to a German woman that wants to date you that finds out you just want to date black women, "Oh, you did something wrong and you could have made it." No, because they would understand because they're trying to be sympathetic to the German woman that hey, you don't like these other ethnicities. It's not against the person personally, but this is not a thing you're into. So it doesn't matter what that person did or how they looked or what way they acted. I only dated white. I don't even want to get caught up in any of this race stuff because I already told you it doesn't matter. Like chicks are finicky and picky and just nitpicky and problematic no matter what race you go to, no matter what race they are, no matter what country they're from. It's all the same crap. I remember when they started pushing that passport. It's so funny how like before the passport thing even started, it already got deflated because I used to talk to chicks from the UK and Australia and Trinidad. I'm not even joking. These are all different countries that I spoke to someone from, some woman that I was like interested in, and it was the same thing in every region because they don't care. If you don't fit their little box of what they think is attractive, then you might as well not even exist. Oh yeah, I know you love those British women, man. You flew over to UK for a lot of fun foreign escapades. When they would come to your place and they saw those pictures of those five respected British figures, they would just be more impressed. I'm not joking. If I lived by myself, I really would like frame like different historical figures. Like I'd have a room where it's just pictures, and like one side is people I know, and the other side would just be political figures. When they saw that picture of Churchill and the other picture of Thatcher, they knew you knew what quality was. Let me see. I have a pic. Oh yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying that I would as a person who's into history, I really would do that where I have like all my favorite historical figures pictures on like one side, and the other ones are oh yeah, people have had images of Lincoln before. I mean, that's like a prerequisite. Nah, Jem, you're a toxic influence because you were trying to make fun of me for criticizing the fact that men have very few clothing options, whereas women have a whole bunch. And you were telling me you shouldn't criticize these women or this. I wouldn't even be criticizing them, but like this culture where they're encouraged to wear whatever they want. But then if you're a guy, you have to follow these extremely strict guidelines, and you know, yeah, you were right there going, "Yep, get ready to wear that black or blue suit with the white or blue shirt and the black or blue Oxford shoes." I'm not even joking. If I'm just like imagining like getting elected to some office because I would already be like shocked I even made it, and then just wearing like female attire and like at that point not even caring because it's like I already did what I wanted to do. Like there's that like that's it. Like I've reached my highest pinnacle. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks anymore. You know what I mean? Like it would just be so funny. Like oh my god, you would see more headlines about like my attire than any legislation that's being introduced or passed or considered. That's how backwards American news is, where they'll get caught up on all this stupid stuff that has nothing to do with improving anybody's life. Like some like a member of Congress's attire, but then if it's something having to do with legislation or our crumbling infrastructure, or people being homeless, or wages not having been raised in over 10, they don't care. Nothing. Only comment I ever made was about your no, that wasn't years ago. That was very recent. I mean, hell, at least I have something distinct. No, it wasn't years ago. Years must have been months ago. That's the new way of referring to months. I was so devastated. I'm not even joking. Like I've said before that if there wasn't such a stigma around, like remember we talked about this before, women can wear anything a man wears something a woman wears, it's the end of the world, or at least like it's frowned upon, or people have a problem with it or think it's crazy or whatever, you know, at least in American culture. And it's just so irritating because like I said, they get more and more options to be and do anything they want. Like there used to be a time period where women didn't wear pants, and now they wear it just as much as men do. Well, you get what I'm saying. Like at least with a kilt, you can say, "Oh, you like you're you know Scottish, whatever." But I'm talking about like you have women who wear men's clothing. Like they go and they buy boxers, they go and they get men's trousers, shirts that are, and all of it is clearly for men. Like if you go on these different sites, it says for men, and again, nobody has a problem with it. But if a man wears something that is for women, they lose their minds. And that's why I was saying I just feel like because you could talk about, oh, you wear that, but I really do feel as if there's only a certain amount of men's stuff that I am comfortable in, whereas with chicks they have this giant arsenal of both stuff that men wear and then stuff that they can wear that's like for them or whatever. So that's why I said it just feels like a joke anytime you see men talk about what other men wear, because it's like we don't even really have that much anywhere near the amount of options that women have, like at all. I have a pink shirt and folks always looking at me funny. Well, look, I'm not saying you should care. And again, I mean, you won't see me trying to tell you what you can and can't wear. I don't do that with anybody. But I'm just saying that it's crazy how if you wear like the same thing, just a different color that's for men, people are like, wow, what's this? You know, but if women wear clothing that's for men, nobody again, nobody cares. Like it's just whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like how if like we're so limiting in what men can wear that if you wear something that's for men but just happens to be maybe a color that people consider to be feminine, whatever, like they'll notice, and some of them will even say something. But it's like if a woman wears something that's for men, nobody has an issue with it. Funny how times have changed. We get what I'm saying, right? Of how like you have these chicks that come online and they talk about the patriarchy. Oh my God, women are so limited, blah, blah, blah. But it's like I just look at this clothing stuff and I'm like, I feel limited, as far as like what I can wear, and not expect someone to try and criticize or tell me what I can or can't put on. Like it's so comical, like one side keeps playing itself up as like having all of its rights taken away, but people just give them more and more stuff. That's how they got Joan of Arc. She was cross-dressing back in the 14th century. The church was not having it. Dude, cross-dressing is a term that people only use to refer to men by. Like, I swear to you, I've seen chicks go into men clothing stores, try on men's stuff, and leave wearing it like nobody's like, "She is cross-dressed." No, because no, again, nobody cares, like, if they wear stuff that is for women or stuff for men. They can do whatever they want. At least clothing as far as clothing is concerned. Man, where's a Kotsky merchant when you need him? I'm waiting for him to talk about China again. They charged her with heresy after she put on armor and was fighting. Mm. Burnt that. Jesus Christ. Oh, that is pretty horrible. I just think being burned is one of like the worst things you can do to kill somebody. That is. I think I might be at a loss for words. And remember, this is like the number one heroin in France. Horrible. The number one heroin. Is it heroin or heroin or I'm thinking of the drug heroin. Yeah, I would just use female hero. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. That anytime we have these like people criticizing men's attire, I just find myself shaking my head because I do believe our options are very limited in comparison with our female counterparts, especially in America. So that's why when Fetterman was getting criticized by Boebert for wearing shorts and a hoodie, I'm like, I mean, so because he's a senator, he's supposed to wear the same exact thing every single day for the rest of his life that looks just like everybody else. Like he can't ever deviate from the script a little bit at all. And again, this woman is saying this, and it's like, if she wanted to show off her legs with some little tiny skirt, nobody would ever, no one would be criticizing her for that. And if she wanted to conceal her legs with some pants, nobody would be criticizing her for that either. So again, it's like it literally is someone talking from a place of privilege about attire, but then they have an unlimited number of options, whereas if you're a man, not so much. Even earrings are now. I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of guys that have earrings. The only time I ever saw like an attempt to combat it was when I went to Catholic school and they had some of the boys put band-aids on their ears to hide the piercings, which I thought was really funny because it's like you get where if you have something that you're trying to conceal that's like not that big, like I mean it's a hole in somebody's ear, you can't even see it unless you're like really up close to them, right? You understand where if you try to hide something really small that's visible by putting something on top of you, just make it stand out more. They really have to walk around all day with the band-aids on the ears, like oh my god. And like I said, the females that went to that school, They could show off any type of earring they well, I mean, I guess, yeah, they did have, like, requirements about, like, you couldn't have an earring that was longer than whatever, but you get the point. Yeah, when I went to Catholic school, they had rules about how long the boys' hair could be. They had rules about, again, like, the earring thing, and then but again, when it's a girl, they can show off their earrings. They can have hair that's as short as mine or as long as the floor. Um, the boys again have to wear a tie every day with the little blue shirt and dark blue pants. The girls can wear, they have like a little blouse or whatever with the tie that's actually much easier to clip on. Their tie's actually way easier. It's one of those little the ribbon looking, what I'm talking about. And they had the plaid skirt, or they had the pants. Did you have nuns? The church had some, but they never participated in school activities. So pretty much anytime I went there, they weren't there, but I know there were some that were, in service. But you get my point that, even back when I was a kid, I was like, man, they have all these options, like, and I didn't even mention shorts because it's like the boys can wear shorts or pants, the girls can wear pants, shorts, or skirts. So again, like in every way, they've always had more freedom of expression, and what I'm talking about. It's just it's so imbalanced. I had nuns as teachers. They did not mess around. Yeah, they beat you with that yardstick. Well, you get what I'm saying, man. I've always like noticed things like, and I guess maybe I've said before, I don't think society cares about men in general. Like I don't think human beings care for each other, but more specifically, they care less about men than they do about women. Um, which is why they're fine with us having less stuff to wear, less, ability to express ourselves, whatever. So it's one of those things where I feel like it's kind of all come to a head, and you can just see it in everything now. Like you see it in the way people talk to each other online. You see it in the whole like thing of like women get to wear whatever men have, but then if a man wears something the woman has, it's like, this horrible sin. So um it's just part of that same belief I have that there's a weird animosity that people, like men and women, have towards men. I do believe that. In the UK, they were allowed to slap and pull ears and paddle. Jesus. What happened to a Akatsuki merchant? He just vanished. Like he departed from here. He flew the coop. He decided he was done for the day. I'm gonna miss him. I don't know if we'll ever see him again. He got sick of my stream and decided to get himself out of there. No, let me think of something else with the dress code. I'm trying to think. I can't really. You get my point that it just seems like there's a lot of stuff that is geared toward women, and if you call it out or like say, "Hey, I would like this to be available as well," they act like you're crazy. Oh, but But yeah, with regard to that job I was talking about, I don't even know if I want it anymore. Like all that stuff they want me to fill out, and then their website was acting up, and I'm just imagining going in people's places, and they like to make stuff up and get. I may end up just going and seeking some other position somewhere else because I did this. The whole process to even start working there has been this extremely dragged out, ridiculous uh, nightmare that I kind of just want to say forget it. And I'm really not saying that to be funny. When you are interviewed by somebody and they make it sound like, oh, just fill out these pages and then you can start next Tuesday. Like, oh, cool. And then you fill the pages out and they send you some more crap to fill out, and then you need to go and dig up some document you haven't seen in years that no one keeps next to them because why would they? No other job wants you to find this thing except them. I just said forget it. Like I'm really just tired of the whole process. We need a picture of your high school diploma. It's like you can't just call the school and ask them, did this person go there? Did they graduate? Which they have on record. Okay. Out of all the jobs I've ever been hired by, applied to, whatever, this is the only one that wanted to see that. Jam, you think I'm kidding? Like I had the way the sequence of events is I had this interview with this lady that was all right. And she said that I had to fill out some papers. And if I filled those out in 3 days, I could start next Tuesday of like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I filled the papers out the next day. It's like 7 pages long. And they have weird stuff on there too, because they're like, we want you to give us two references that are not family or employers, which is a strange request because who else would you put as a reference besides someone that I mean, like whatever, it's weird. But anyways, I fill it out. Then I get sent another several pages of stuff to do by this guy, and on those pages, one of them says, "We need a picture of your high school diploma." And this is really weird because out of all the jobs I've ever worked, all the jobs I've applied to, none of them have ever wanted to see my last or like highest level of what I'm talking about, where they'll have you enter in your highest level of education on like a website, but like a physical picture of it, like it's weird. It's weird. And I don't care who tries to justify it. I don't care who tries to say, oh, this is just what jobs. I've never seen that from anywhere else. At all the places I worked. Jim says F that. Well, you get my point that it's just too much for too little. Because remember, my biggest problem isn't even that they're asking for some old thing that I don't have anymore, which does drag the process out. But my biggest issue is that this isn't even a full-time job. So you're gonna do all this stuff to start working at some place that only has you for maybe like 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, 5, 6 hours a day, and then what? After they get rid of you, you just oh well, that's it. You went through all this for to work for them for like 2 or 3 weeks before they threw you out like the rest of them do. That's why I said I'm not motivated to do all this stuff for this job. I really just feel like at this point going on Indeed or some other website and applying for stuff there, and then um you know I just doing that instead because this whole like dragged out thing with this place, I'm getting sick of it. And like I said, if it was a full-time job, maybe I would put up with all the BS because I've done that before where they want little different stuff, and you go and you dig for it, look for whatever. But to work there for 4 hours a week, or not a week, but like 4 hours a day or 6 hours a day, and like basically from the get go you're not going to be able to survive off this crap. It's not worth it, man. I'll tell you my favorite response: just get two jobs. Okay, all the post office. I told you I applied there last year and didn't hear anything back. Yeah, they always say they're hiring until they're not. Like I said, I'll look into it again, But I'm not going to get my hopes up because these places they love screwing with people. And you know what I've said before is I keep telling them I want to work somewhere full time, and they will not do it. They don't care. And I swear it's like every job that extends an olive branch wants me part time, and it's always the same hours. Like it's always 12 to 5 in the afternoon. Like, god damn, you know? Because I said before that, you know, if you call yourself being slick, all right, I'll take this one and then this other one, but you can't because they're both at the same time. You got to go there and ask for the site manager. Well, all I'm saying is it's been really aggravating. This job stuff really does feel like the what is it, Wild Coyote and Roadrunner, where I'm the coyote and I'm trying to get the job, and Roadrunner just zips right past the thing every time. That's how it feels. And I told you that this is the only thing. Trust me, I know. Been there. This is the only thing where I've seen where like you can still lose by winning. Where like even if you get hired by somewhere, there's a caveat like, okay, you got hired by this place, but they don't give you a full-time position, so you're not going to be able to live off this anyway. Um, it was worse in the early 2000s. I don't know, man. If you say so, I think this has been pretty like, dude. I'm at a point where now I don't even believe it's possible to get a 40-hour a week job that keeps me on for more than like a month at most, because we've seen this play out twice where they put up their now hiring sign, they make it seem like they want you so bad. Ooh, we need people. And then after you start working for them, they're like nitpicking you over the things that you're doing or not doing, and they just throw you in the trash. They're like, all right, get lost. So that's why I said at this point I'm just extremely pessimistic about this stuff. And people talk, oh, you self-fulfilling It's like, dude, I'm looking at basic patterns. A job puts out the help wanted sign, makes it sound desperate. You start working there after 2 weeks to a month, they're looking the ways to get rid of you. That's what they do. But that's why I said with this one, if this whole like high school diploma thing wasn't something they brought up, I would probably again like be trying to at least try it, like start it out. But all this just to work 4 hours a day or 20 hours a week, it's not worth it, man. It's not. Well, I don't have the most sympathetic of relatives, so my best is never enough for these bastards, I tell you. Oh God. What search engine you use for jobs? Several. I mean, I'm not gonna say them on here because I want to get bogged down in just talking about this the whole stream. Like I said, I'll look into the post office stuff. I'll get back to you on that. But besides that, I'm just kind of flooring it at this point. When you sit there and you keep trying to find stuff and you keep getting caught up in this whole thing of cat and mouse, where this job is here and then it's not there, and then you go for the interview and then you get the plot twist of they're just looking for someone to work there for 10 hours a week. It's all just, I don't know. It's just, that's why I said like I just feel like society cares about itself and nothing else. And if you don't fit into a box or some kind of way in which they think they can use you, they'll just chew you up and spit you out. Um, because I'm like, do they really think somebody wants to work for less than for like not even half of 40 hours, for like 10 hours a week? Or have one job where it's 20 over here and 15 over. I mean, this is like, who wants to do that? I'm serious. Like, I don't know anyone who hears that and is like, yeah, sign me up. Part-time job. Yeah. It's like, I see why they're looking for people. Nobody wants to barely be able to take care of themselves or not be able to. And of course, all the bastards sitting up in the office and doing these stupid interviews, they have a full time job. They're up from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But then they want to stick you with 3 hours in the afternoon or 5 hours in the morning. Man, all the people that work there regularly, they get their 40 hours, but you no, not you. They're like, yeah, please sleep in your car. That's why I said, man, I'm so tired of this whole thing with these places. Like, I'm not even joking. I've had like literal dreams about working somewhere for more than for like an actual 3 months, and you know, not getting fired. Like it's it I like it. I'm serious. I really do feel like I have PTSD with this crap because I just can't see a scenario where they don't do this now. I think I mentioned that like during that peace summit, the person was talking about, let's not talk negative. I'm like, no, it's the truth. This is what it is. These places are not serious about hiring and retaining people. They get different people to start working for a little crap company. They find something to have a problem with you over, and then they toss you out like a piece of garbage. I'm not going to sit here and convince myself if I just believe positively and do the stuff and smile, then people are going to keep me. No, because I know this is what they do. So all the like cheery, happy stuff that's dead because employers know they don't know how to do anything for anybody but themselves. They are terrible, man. They're just lousy. And I don't care what anybody says. I'll never understand how a job can just be like something that people want so that they can survive, and then be like, all right, well, we'll make it to where you can't survive because we'll barely give you any hours. And the worst part is, the only regret I have is I wish I hadn't have mentioned it to that person during that summit, because now they're going to keep asking me questions. Hey, how did the thing with the job go? How did the thing with the job go? It's, like, it's crap. It's just as bad as all the other ones. Expecting somebody to survive off 5 hours a day. Like, give me a break. That's really interesting. That like the main purpose of a job is being able to take care of yourself. Uh, support your living standard, whatever. And when they do this part-time crap, they don't they destroy the purpose. They get rid of any reason to even work. I mean, there's no point. Like there's this thing on TV tropes called become their own antithesis. That's really what these jobs do when they start up the part-time nonsense. And it all sounds so sexy. Oh, you're gonna get paid $20 an hour or 19 or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds good until you remember that you're actually still making less than minimum wage. Or rather, you're making less than 15 an hour, because people who get 15 an hour that get 8 hours are making more than you. So that the extra $4 is not going to cover the missing hours that these people won't give you. So like I said, there's just no point. Like it's all just this giant waste. It's like, hey, let's sit here and make it sound like we want to hire somebody and we need people, and oh, we're going to give you this great amazing wage, and it sounds so cool until you remember that it still isn't going to be enough because we're not going to give you enough hours to actually take care of yourself. Like I'm very serious when I say that I'm not optimistic about the stuff with these jobs. I'm not. It's just a bunch of lies, deceit, and it doesn't matter how many people smile in your face and tell you that they want you to work for them, or how many applications you fill out. If a place doesn't want to hire you, or hire you to an extent that you can actually live off of, they won't. Just like I remember when I went to that job fair last month and I filled out that application after that lady explicitly told me, if you fill this out, I will call you on Monday. And that bastard didn't call me. But remember, it doesn't bother them because they have a job, so they're fine. You know, if you go to crap and don't have anything to fall back on, that's okay with them. That's why I said this whole thing is just so stupid to me. Like sitting here and trying to apply to all these places and just the whole process. It just seems like this giant waste of time. Like when I fill out applications, I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, this one's probably gonna be stupid, or this one's probably gonna not reach out to me, or this one's probably gonna see it and send me. I love when they send you the message where they're like, we've decided not to move forward. I'm like, you guys are so altruistic that you have to inform me that you're not going to bother with me. It's like, yeah, most of them don't bother with me anyway. They just don't say anything. So it's like they went out of their way to be like, nope, not you. Sorry. That's why I said this whole thing is just lousy, man. Like it doesn't matter how many times you do this stuff or who it's just it sucks. Like the whole thing is just terrible. Like I never would have guessed 6 or 7 years ago that it was this hard to not only get a job, but just like to actually get one that keeps you on and pays you 40 hours. Like you might as well be asking for a damn miracle at this point. And I used to be so just, but I swear it's like there's always little cracks that show how screwed up stuff is before it really takes place. Because I remember back when I was in college, there was it's not a fast food place, but it's one of these restaurants, and they had a now hiring sign. I went on my computer, made myself an application. As I handed to the lady, she's asked me questions about, have you done this, that, or the other? And I'm like, no, I haven't done it, but oh, we'll teach you how to do it. And of course, you hear nothing back from the bastard. Like I can remember at least like several attempts I made at trying to work for these different like companies and like places that were around me, and they would either say nothing back or they would uh not hire. It's just irritating. Good luck, dude. I'm gonna need more than luck. We're gonna need more than that. We're gonna need like a 4-leaf clover and some horseshoes and what's another omen. I mean, I think I'm playing like it's this stuff is so bad. You need every last ounce of luck that can even be transferred your way just to even survive. It's awful. Like these employers are a joke. They pretend like they're serious, but they're not. They're just a big gag. I must have filled out 10,000 applications. I'm telling you, for me, it's been at least a couple hundred. Like I think I told you there was like a pizza place that I applied for, and I filled out 30 applications to work there. And I don't even think they reached out to me. Like it was I even like I used to have an email where I would show them because I was like, look at all the like that's how desperate I was just to work somewhere where it like 30 different positions in their company and all their little different retailers were filled out by me in the span of maybe an hour. Like it was nuts just applying for all these different goddamn jobs and then like hearing nothing back. Like it's like you don't even exist and it went through. And the one time they call me, it's like, "Hey, do you have a car?" I'm like, "No, I don't," because this is before I had one. And like, that's why I said when I didn't have a car, that really did screw me over because there were jobs that were, like at least open enough to send me a message, and then I still couldn't take them anyway because I didn't have the car. Like I, I tell you, you just can't win, man. It's it's awful. Like I'm smiling, but I'm really not even attempting to sugarcoat it. It's really bad. applying for stuff, trying to work somewhere. It's all just made very difficult. Like getting an actual tangible result is just very hard. Like I said, sometimes I do get tired. Like I when I last month, or rather, excuse me, month before last, April, all month was just me going around looking for a job, driving to this place, traveling to that place. And I just at one point I said to myself, I'm really doing everything I can to try and work somewhere, including driving to places that aren't even near me. Like I'm driving to whole other cities just to speak to some bastard for like 5 minutes who's not even serious about me anyway. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why am I doing this? We already know what the result's going to be. And even if you get hired by some of these places that are so damn far away, you don't have enough money to go and buy gas every day to get over here. Right, what I'm saying is it really just turned into an exercise in futility where it was like all the places close to me don't want to hire at all. But then all the ones that are in some other city or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, if you do this for us and you do that for us, then maybe it's like it's stupid. It's dumb. Like all this stuff for nothing. I told you I drove to an address that was like 2 hours away and ended up being late anyway, which was the first time I've ever been late to a job interview. And the lady who said she would wait for me didn't even keep her word. It was somebody else interviewed me. Then there was another one where I went there, drove over there. They have some sign in the window about you have to wear a mask. And even though I called them, they said it was outdated. I don't know why they can't just take the damn thing off or whatever. I go there, I sit down, I talk for an interview with the stupid person running the place. And it's like, God, you do all this for nothing. And like I said, they don't care how much gas you burn, whether your time was wasted. It doesn't bother them. Not one bit. No, I do try to have some fun with it, but it gets really irritating when you have to keep sitting here and uh effectively like just having the same thing play itself out over and over. You go into job interviews getting nothing tangible out of it, and then the process repeats itself the following week, the following month. I mean, I'm really just like it drives me crazy. It does. And like I said, I don't feel bad about not taking the one that you know, started this thing up. What was it, last week or a few weeks ago with the whole like, oh, get your diploma? Because again, they're not even going to hire me on full time anyway. So again, you'll go and you'll work this job and you make like 20, you get like 20 hours a week, and then where's the other 20 supposed to come from? Pixie dust? Because as we've discussed in here before, these companies hate each other and they love using their employees to get caught in the crossfire. They will actively look for ways to sabotage you at the other job. They love doing that. Like I said, I'm just tired of this whole process, man. Like I got sick of the person breathing down my neck telling me that I need to do something, and it's irritating, man. It really is. I'm tired of driving all these places for nothing. I'm tired of filling out all these applications. It's just it's like I said, it's all lousy. It's bad. Hell, I'm even tired of editing on these wikis for nothing. Like you don't get any kind of praise or any showing of appreciation whatsoever. It's always we only acknowledge you if we delete something, and if we like it, are not bothered by. We're not going to say anything. We make up rules as we go along. Just I'm tired of it. It's all based around trying to like make me feel bad or think I did so, and I'm sick of it. I really am. Yeah, they're over here talking about pills and pessimism and all this other. It's like, yeah, why don't you actually explain to me why what I'm saying is incorrect. Like instead of sitting here and talking about terms and phrases and sayings and whatever, articulate to me what that's being said here is incorrect. I'd love to hear it. But of course, they can't do that, so they use these terms and phrases that mean nothing. But Jim, do you have anything left to say? Because I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm just tired of this stuff. Like, so if you have any other comments or statements you want to make, speak now or forever hold your peace until Saturday. Like I said, I'll call the Secretary of State's office this week, or at least I'll try to. Sometimes stuff gets in the way. Um, and like I said, I'll just go and look for some other position because that thing with that place is just annoying. So thanks for showing up, Jim. Kotsky Merchant was here earlier. He was fun while he lasted, and I'll be back on Saturday. So have a good rest of your Monday.